Seperti yang saya maklum sebelum ni dalam kelas protein, kita kata for those athletes yang nak diet, the most important thing is kita kena pastikan bahawa the diet is not affect the muscles. Sebab apa? Bila kita kekurangan makan kalori, okay, there is what we call as a deficit in terms of the energy intake, calorie intake. Usually dia akan affect in terms of the muscles ataupun in terms of the protein dalam badan kita. Sama juga, okay, kita dalam resistance training ni, when there is a calorie deficit and also there is a speed of weight loss, there are these two are the important factors yang akan menyebabkan muscle loss bila kita diet. Kalau calorie deficit is very small, but kita at the same time we took a lot of protein intake and also kita juga do the resistance training and dia boleh counter actually the most of the breakdown in muscle protein. However, when the deficit calorie is very large and the protein alone actually can stop the loss of skeletal mass completely. Jadi kita kena pastikan bahawa there is not a lot of calorie deficit among the athletes lah, especially yang resistant athlete. Sebagai contoh, there is a one study that conducted among 39 adults who were randomized to receive satu yang betul-betul RDA for protein, yang kedua adalah twice the RDA, and the third group is thrice, 3 times the RDA punya requirement. So the first 10 days, dia bahagikan this group of 3 groups ni kepada diet untuk weight maintenance. Dan after this period, dia letak daripada put on a 21-day diet, which is diet dia adalah 40% fewer calorie than needed to maintain the weight. So from this study, they found that all groups dia akan ada significant amount of sama sahaja dia punya amount of weight loss. Regardless dia makan 0.8 ke 1.6 ke atau 2.6 gram per kilogram. Semua weight loss dia sama sahaja. Tetapi grup yang consume 2 or 3 more than RDA for protein, they lost significantly more fat and also tapi less fat free mass daripada grup yang consume betul-betul 0.8 adalah RDA for protein. Dan anabolic response untuk meal tak beza pun between the weight maintenance and lower calorie diet when subject consume 2 atau 3 times the RDA. Jadi kesimpulan daripada study ini, dia katakan bahawa if you consume more than the RDA requirements for protein, while consuming significantly less energy, sebenarnya dia boleh preserve the muscle mass during weight loss. Maknanya dia kurangkan pengambilan of the calorie intake, tapi dia punya protein intake must be higher than the requirement intake. Dan benda ni sebenarnya preserve the muscle mass during the weight loss. Sebenarnya sangat susah untuk athlete tu nak gain weight bila dia cut the calorie. Dan actually the lower calorie diet dia akan decrease the intracellular signal that is necessary for the synthesis of new protein muscles. Jadi muscle tissue ni dia akan less sensitive to protein bila calorie intake adalah insufficient. Sebab apa? Again saya cakap bila kita kurang makan kalori, kita susah nak sintesis protein. Sebab apa? Bila kita lower calorie diet, kita makan diet kurang kalori, dia akan menyebabkan penurunan atau penurunan intracellular signal. This intracellular signal ni penting untuk dia signal the synthesis of new protein in muscles. Jadi bila muscle tissue ni dia tak sensitif kepada protein when calorie intake is insufficient. Dan selalunya kita tahu bahawa bila low calorie diet ataupun mereka kata diet yang low carbohydrate diet and high fat protein diet, kita panggil sebagai ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet ni apabila kebanyakan atlet dia makan a very high fat diet, which is about 80 to 90% of energy from fat, or 3 to 4 gram of fat for every 1 gram of protein and carbohydrate. And this will circulate the ketone level to reach about more than 0.5 millimole per liter bila kita ukur dalam test dalam urine blood ataupun dalam breath test. And kita tahu bahawa ketone ni boleh gunakan sebagai source of energy bila badan kita tak cukup glukos. This is like ketone diet lah. Ketone diet yang selalu orang buat tu lah. Dia take less of carbohydrate. However, this kind of diet, they are very controversial, and this kind of diet is actually we are not recommending. Kita tak recommend pun kepada resistance training. It is not ideal. Sebab apa? Bila kita makan, macam tadi katalah, there are many of the signaling modules that kita perlukan, intracellular signal yang kita perlukan untuk kita muscle hypertrophy. Dan waktu ni dia akan reduce, and bila kita makan, kita jadi diet lah. And then bila kita makan this kind of diet, dia akan tak menyebabkan greater of fat loss compared to the high carbohydrate diet. And in fact, body fat dia akan loss slowly during kita jadi diet, and subject loss muscles sebenarnya. Kebanyakan dia akan loss muscles. Dia bukan loss kepada diet. Orang yang buat keto diet tu at the first stage dia banyak kehilangan muscles sebenarnya, bukan fat. And then apart from protein, there are also other nutrients that can support the muscle functioning. Not only protein, but there are a few nutrients yang boleh support muscle functioning. Contoh macam magnesium kat sini, and you can read by yourself. Magnesium, of course vitamin D. Vitamin D actually can influence the muscle strength, and it has been found that deficiency in vitamin D actually can cause muscle weakness and pain. Zinc also another nutrient that can also support the muscle functioning. And for the sports supplement, there are a few of sports supplements that also recommended for the resistance training. For example, creatine monohydrate, where it found that this kind of supplement actually can increase body weight, can increase strength, and also muscle mass in healthy younger adults. Creatine supplement. Creatine supplement ni boleh ambil, but however, it has been suggested that when you want to take the creatine supplement, you have to take it in combination with resistance training, where they found that there's a greater increase in lean body mass and also can improve some functional performance. And another one, and this is the one that kita dah belajar juga hari tu, which is beta hydroxy beta methyl butyrate, which is HMB lah. Which is kita tahu bahawa HMB ni, this kind of supplement, dia adalah metabolite kepada leucine. Kita tahu leucine adalah salah satu protein yang sangat penting untuk protein muscle synthesis. Muscle protein synthesis. And also this kind of supplement actually found that also boleh mengurangkan MPB, the muscle protein breakdown. But there also issues that they found that sebenarnya this kind of supplement actually dia hanya benefits untuk orang yang very elderly, yang tak boleh exercise, and then for those that yang fitness. Jadi kesimpulannya daripada apa yang saya nak bagi tahu daripada resistance training topik ni, jadi karbohidrat masih lagi penting, especially for during and after, before, during and after, to give the energy to the athlete. Tapi function dia adalah berbeza berbanding dengan endurance. Maknanya function bukan apa, maknanya kalau karbohidrat kekurangan, dia ada effects in term of the muscle mass. And kita tahu bahawa when they are low in carbohydrate stores, it can affect the performance and also can affect the immune and also CNS functioning of the athletes. And we need to eat a adequate amount of carbohydrate also after exercise, where actually it can provide energy for the calorie expensive process of muscle building and also repair. It juga akan mengurangkan decrease of muscle breakdown. tidak mahu protein dijadikan sebagai fuel of energy, and also dia boleh replace glycogen so that the athlete has adequate energy for the next training session. And apart from that, daripada carbohydrate, another thing that we need to measure, or we need to ensure that the hydration status of the athlete. So we need to ensure that the hydration status will not affect the resistance training performance by altering the hormonal and also metabolic response to resistant exercise and making the hard work harder. For protein, kita kena tahu bahawa it's essential for recovery and training adaptations. For before, protein penting for those yang nak growth the muscles, for the muscles growth, and then untuk during tidak berapa penting, tapi untuk after is very very important. training, there are many things that you need to remember for the after resistance training. Well, we want to recommend the protein, kita kena ada tengok dua perkara, iaitu dari segi protein kualiti dan juga dari segi dia punya fast protein ataupun slow protein lah. So both protein and essential amino acid consumed prior to or after resistance training actually can stimulate the MPS, the muscle protein synthesis. At least 20 to 40 gram of protein should be consumed after exercise. And kalau kita tahu lebih senang, this is for the after exercise lah. Dan kalau untuk nak stimulate the muscle growth, you kena ambil lebih kurang dalam 30 gram. Okay, dan katakan dalam satu hari diperlukan around 100 gram. So you bahagi-bahagikan lah. Actually the minimum for every meal adalah 30 gram protein dan consists of 2 to 3 gram of leucine. Dan okay, and we know that the aging actually can alter the ambient response to protein intake. It is all for now for me. Okay, thank you.